All right, so we have a crap website. It looks terrible. Doesn't go anywhere. So we got to fix that, right? And the way we're going to do that is the first thing I want to do is I want to move this thing here in the center. And the best way to do that, or the way that I do that, is first I figure out what I call this thing. I don't like little circles. Okay, so I called this thing landing message, right? So landing message. Let's do that. Landing message. Message. Now this is supposed to encompass everything in this. So that's the landing message. Let me just double check. Right. So that's that. That's that. Okay. So landing message, this area, we're going to give it a width of 500. And we're going to give it margin 0 auto. That's going to center that area. And then I'm going to do top of 10%. Top just means like from the top where you're going to push this thing. So that should push everything to the center. And then we're going to call, what do we call it? Landing heading message. Landing heading message. We'll go text align center it even more. And then we'll do the landing message H3. I believe we're going to keep it black, but the font family, let me try Varela. Let me see, Varela. It's Varela. Arial Helvetica. And we'll say font size is 30 pixels. And we'll say margin bottom 5 pixels. And then the landing heading message paragraph will be font size 24 pixels maybe. And we'll do a margin bottom of, actually I can just do it like this. I don't need to do that. I can just go over to the message itself, message, and go margin bottom. 10 pixels. Let me just see something. Oh boy. Sorry, there I am. All right. This thing, I'm still getting used to this thing. I'm not sure if you heard what I was saying, but basically what I was telling you was that when you have a width of something in CSS and then you sort of do the margin auto, what that does is it centers everything. So we centered it, we topped it 10%, meaning that from the top we're going to go 10% down. And then we aligned all the text at center, so that gives it a little bit more of a centered look. And if we look at it now, again, I do Control F5 just in case. It's still right there. Why is it still there? Hold on. Let me just double check something. Oh, margin top. My fault. Not top, margin top. Whoops. The reason why I did margin top was because of 10% was because pixels sometimes can get a little nasty. So as you can see, it looks kind of centered, right? I really don't know what color would be good for that, but anyway. So now we have that little thing in the middle there, that landing main button. So let's go landing main button. Landing main button again. We're gonna do a width of 300. Margin 0 auto really it centers everything, and in text align center. And we're gonna go background color of var primary color. Height. I'll say 50. Well, let's do 50. I don't even think I need the width to be that wide. I think I could do about, no, we'll keep it 3. I think that's fine. And then padding will be 10 pixels. And now, landing, oh yeah, don't forget. Cursor, pointer. You're gonna fool any of your users because they'll think the whole thing is a link and it's not. A equals color white, font family. I think this one was Varela, Arial. And font size, we'll say 20 pixels. Font weight, 600. Freaking hair in my eye. And when we go landing main button, where are you? Hover, we're going to say background color, and we're going to use the secondary. So, with that, right? Yeah, it's a little big. That's what she said. Okay, let me go like this. And oh yeah, border radius. Border radius of 10 pixels. Anything bigger than any kind of box that's bigger than like a little button like that, you kind of want to make the radius 10 so you can actually see the curves. And I didn't do text decoration, none. I don't think that's going to center it more. Yeah, now it's over there. All right, it's not Varela. It's actually Roboto. And it's not 20 pixels. It's actually like 16. And it's not 600. It's actually like 500. And we're still not centered. Well, how did I center it again? Now I got to look at my notes again. See, this is the stuff I got to review. That's better, but now it's too high. The height's too much. 30. But it's still not centered. Why is it not centered? Whoops. Come here, you. Where are my notes? Pages. How did I center that thing? Let's take a look. $200 high, margin. I did the same thing. Huh. Oh well, let me take a look. Yeah, it's like over to the... I guess because I centered the tag, let's not do that. It's already centered. Let's take a look. Nah, that looks like crap now. Oh, okay. Nah, it's still over to the left. Yeah, maybe, did I make it wider, maybe? Did I close it again? I'm just trying to see, sorry about this, I'm just trying to see how I did that. See, the problem this is what happened, now I did the same height, everything, with... Okay, let's see. Don't know why. Oh well. We're going to have to move it again. Yeah, we're going to have to move it. Alright. Because you want to kind of have it like centered. Wrong one. You want to kind of have it centered and it's off to the left. So, let's just do this. I mean, you don't want to, you don't have to. But... Oh, I think I know. Nah, whatever. Just margin left it like 100. Because what I did was I don't have like a div inside of it. There you go. That's center enough. All right, so this doesn't take anywhere, and we don't have our header still. So the only thing that we need to do with the header is, you see that header? We just have to give it a z-index. Z-index is sort of like a fourth dimension, where if you put a number higher than whatever, the base number, everything should come out then. No, it's still not there. Oop, that's not what I was looking for. Get out of here. Oh, now you show up. Thanks. Z-index. Oh, I know I did something and I forgot what it was to get that out. I gave that a z-index of minus, but guess we'll just do that. So landing body will go z-index. And if you do a z-index of minus, sometimes you can get... But I know there was something else that I did. no. All right, so there's our header. It's here now, right? So since we can see it again, we're going to just get these colors to be white. No, that's already white. This one, white, and color white. So now, with all my fumbling and bumbling, we've got a pretty decent looking landing page. Pop, pop, look at that. See, you got a logo, we got this, it transitions when we do that. But again, we just have this one, dude, I want to close something. Get out of here. Move. But, you know, we just have this one picture, and we wanted more than that. This is when JavaScript comes into play. So now with JavaScript, we don't have any files. Let's make a landing JS, right? That's what we called it. This is when you use IDs. If you've never used JavaScript before, I'm not a fan of it. Not a big thing with JavaScript. I don't like it. But JavaScript is a necessary tool, more or less. It makes things a little easier. With CSS, you can only do so much. JavaScript is extra user interface functionality. So it's a useful tool. I just find it to be gross. I'm very much into eloquent, clean programming, which is why I'm more a PHP guy or a Ruby guy. JavaScript, Python, they're just kind of gross to me. But, you know, listen, to each his own. One thing I want to do is we want these links to go somewhere, right? So we want to just go public function sign in, and we're just going to return a view of, I'm going to call this one, I'm going to give it a folder of main, and we're going to call it sign in. That's all that's going to do. And then public function sign up, and that's all this is going to do. It's just going to return view main sign up. Now, if we want to do anything, if we want to make more pages in CodeIgniter or model view controller frameworks, the first thing you got to do after you put in the return views or however it is that they're looking for the views, you have to then go to your routes, and these are, the landing page was just a get. We were just getting information and displaying it. These two, we're actually going to get and post. Now, we're not actually posting to the pages, but just to be on the safe side, the way that CodeIgniter does both functionalities of get and post is they use a function called match. And within match, you have to match it to get, and you have to match it to post. Now it knows the methods that are going to be used in displaying, getting, posting information. But you still have to tell the function and tell CodeIgniter what page they're looking for. What's the URL? And the URL here will be just sign in. And then, of course, it's going to be the home class, and it will be called sign in. That's the function that we made in the home class, or the home object. We made the sign in function. So now we're telling it, look for this page, look for this view, and this function. So we do that again for we match, we do get, and we do post, and we do sign up. Just don't forget the slash, sign up. Oh, not sign in up, sign up. Please learn how to type. Haste makes waste, children. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to make two routes for just the information that's being posted. And just like with the get, all we need is the URL on the slash. We don't need any other information. We don't need like what we're matching, because we already know what we're doing. We're posting it, so we don't have to match, get, post. We don't have to do that. We're posting it, so we just have to get the URL that we're looking for. And then we're going to call it home. Sign in check will be the function in the home controller. And then post sign up check, and that will be in the home sign up check function. So again, if you want to get something and you want to post something on one page, you use match with the routes, the match function, and then you put in what you want to match, get and post. Then you separate it with a comma, you then go to the next area, which is what the actual link is going to be. So it knows when you're linking or when you're referencing sign in, it knows to go to that sign in, and then from there it knows to look in the home controller, the sign in function. These, the sign in check and the sign up check, these are going to be what we use the JavaScript to reference as we do asynchronous checks. And when we get into that, you'll understand it a lot better. So let's just make those function sign in check. Make sure you can spell it correctly, because if not, and we'll just leave it blank for now, and public. This way we have things that we have them in place. I like to just get things ready. Oh, actually, wait, that was the link. That wasn't, the function was without the underline, without the underscore. Okay. So there we go. So now we're all set. This way, when we actually link, excuse me, I've got carrots stuck in my throat. Excuse me. So when we actually go to those references, we actually reference those links in the headers, we'll have a page. Well, we got to make the pages now, right? So we want to look in the main folder, so let's make a main folder. In the views, that's the app version, right? That's the app location, views. Make a main folder, and then we make a file called signin.php. Just leave it blank for now, because we have to do its own styling. If you want to be adventurous, just do the get it ready, and we'll just go over here. Sign into Facker, and we'll close that for now. We have to create users first, so the first one we're going to make is the sign up. And we'll do that again, and we'll say create your Facker account. So this way we know that we're going to these pages. I'm going to keep that one open for now. But the landing, so now we have a JavaScript thing, right? We want these pictures to transition. So the way we want them to transition from picture to picture to picture is we want to, in the JavaScript file, the landing.js, we want to make two variables. The first one we're going to call I, and you can call whatever you want, and that's going to equal 0. So the way you declare variables in JavaScript, if you've never used JavaScript before, is you just say var. You could also say let. Let just means let this equal. It's basically a variable. It's the same thing. I don't know what the difference is, but it's JavaScript. And then we have to make an array of pictures or picture references. So we're going to call those pics, right? And we're going to make that, which JavaScript, PHP, two programming languages that were designed more or less specifically for web development or website building. Arrays, variables are very malleable, so they can basically be anything. You could put pretty much any value in any of these variables or lets. With PHP, you just use $sign to declare variables. With JavaScript, you say var. With arrays, you just have to put the brackets. And within those brackets, we just kind of go images, landing, and we're going to do, where are my images? Landing. So we're going to go in order. So we're going to say Bayonetta JPG. I hope I spelled her name right. Then you separate each value with a comma. An array is a variable that holds many values. And those two are very, very malleable. You can keep putting in different types of value. Well, not different types. You want to keep the numbers. Well, no, you can't do different types. But whatever the case. You can have different layers is what I'm saying. And you'll see when we start doing the actual programming, the back-end programming, you're going to see how we could just continue to put variables and, values in these arrays, and we could just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And it keeps expanding. So then Samus comes next, JPG, and we'll do a little trick here. In order for it to go back to Bayonetta after it, back to Camilla after it goes through all these other women, we're just going to put hers last because it defaults to her when we start up the page, and then it goes back to her at the end of the array. And this is just going to loop through everything. That's what this does. So we have the array. So now let me just double check my language. So now, right, function carousel. So I have to actually say, where is it? Unload. And onload is basically a trigger. It's an HTML trigger telling the JavaScript when this happens, do your thing. Onload means when you load the page, run the function carousel. That's what I called it. Well, that's what we're going to call it. Load the function carousel. So now with JavaScript, whoops, close the wrong one. With JavaScript, everything is, it's kind of like Python. If you're a Python person and you don't know JavaScript or whatever, JavaScript is kind of like Python in which it turns everything into an object, more or less. A digital object, a DOM. So everything that you see can be referenced as a function. So once we make the variables, everything can then be referenced like any other object. So here we make another variable within, so we make the function carousel, right? And that's how you set up a function in JavaScript. And within that, I keep reference. I don't know why I can't just remember this. We're gonna make another object. We're gonna call it this, and it will be document get element by ID carousel. And that's all I need. That's all. We're just referencing. So right. So now, what we just did was we made an object called slide, or a variable called slide, and we took this. We took the digital reference of this whole thing, not the header, just the picture and whatever, like just the picture with the background, right? We took that and we referenced that. So now whatever's in here has been referenced by this. So we can do whatever we want with it. And with JavaScript, there are so many different attributes and so many different functions you can use with your objects. And with this one, we're going to say that we're going to do a for loop, I is less than equal to the length, I, not 1, to the length of slide, right? I'm sorry, the length of pix. So pix is an array, right? And, oh, I'm sorry, it's an if. I don't even know my own programming. So we have made an if statement. So what we're saying is, if the variable I is greater than or equal to the length of the array pix, what we then do is we then return, is that what I did? Okay. Yeah, we then return I to 0. So we're referencing the array. Well, I'm going to go through all this when I'm done, but whatever. So now with slide, so like I said, slide is an object. Wait, how did I do it again? Okay. Don't want to do that. Yeah. So let me just put this together and you'll see. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. What's going on? It doesn't look right, but it's right. Okay, so anyway. Pix I right? Plus plus. All right, so let me put it together and I'll explain it to you. And I'm also going to put style dot, no, that's fine. Style dot transition equals all three ease in. And now we're going to set another function, which I'm pretty sure is outside. Yeah. So another function called setInterval. And that's going to be carousel, the function, and every 4,000 milliseconds, which is 4 seconds. All right, so anyway, let me just double check my thing. Yep. As you can see, I've done it before, and I keep forgetting. Okay, so what we just did here, right? What did we just do? We made a variable called I, which we equal to 0. We made an array called pics, which we equal to the values, the images, and how they're referenced. Right. Oh, I don't need this. Okay. You could check if nothing happens when it loads up, you can check, with the links or whatever that it's referencing. So we made an array called pics. So with the variable I equal to 0 and the array called pics, which is just the images, it's just the referencing the name of the images, we then made a function called carousel. And with the function carousel, what it does is it takes the background, like I said, it takes this entire div, this entire thing right here, turns this into an object, and what it does with that object is it goes through, almost like a for loop, it goes through the number I and keeps increasing with every iteration. So the length of pics is 5, right? We have five values. I has to be greater or equal to, right? I has to be greater or equal to 5. Actually it has to be less than or equal to 5. Once it gets through the 6th iteration, once it goes through 6 times and it becomes greater than 5, we return I back to the 0 and we just do it all over again. So it goes through once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It goes through pics and finds the values in pics at that stage. And then once it hits Camilla's picture, again, once it hits the last iteration, it just returns to 0 and does it all over again. And what are we doing there? We're changing the background image to the background, that background reference, the background image reference, this right here. We're changing it to whatever value of pics we're in at that point. And we just add it until it gets to 5, and then we go back to 0 and does it again. And then I added the transition to go 0 in 0.3 seconds. So now, if we did everything right, and we refresh, give it 4 seconds, and there you go. And then give it another 4 seconds. And there you go. So it looks like it's not transitioning. Hold on. Oh, I think I did that. Hold on. No, that's right. Oh, I didn't do the seconds. My fault. I'm sorry. Okay, let's put the seconds in there. Okay. Let's do that again. Because as you can see, it's just a pop. It's not like a real transition. So now let's look. There you go. See how that kind of smoothly comes in? So again, so it's just going to keep doing this till we get to the 5th iteration. And then on the 5th iteration, right, so there's Samus. Here comes Pyra and Mithra. And then on the 5th iteration, wow. And then on the 5th iteration, hey, wait a minute. Did I say, oh, I didn't put the JP. That's my fault. Okay. One more time. Let's do this again. We got Camilla first. Transition to Bayonetta. Wait a few seconds. Wait 4 seconds. Transition to Chun-Li. Wait another 4 seconds. Samus. Another 4 seconds. Pyra Mithra. Wow. And then another 4 seconds. Back to Camilla. See, so that's how you do that transition. It should have been a lot easier. For some reason, I just can't get that in my head. But good thing I got my notes. That's why I keep the previous versions of the websites. So now, if we go to sign up, create your Facker account, We're ready to go make the sign page. I'm sorry the landing page took that long. I really was not expecting it to take that long. I wanted it to take just about a couple of minutes here and there. But when we come back tomorrow, we're going to do the sign up, we're going to do the sign in, we're going to do everything, all the checks asynchronously, and we're going to then go to our dashboard and we're going to create users and everything, and we're going to go to our dashboard and we're going to do that with a JavaScript transition redirect, not a PHP redirect. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So stay tuned for that. Again, I apologize for the weird manner in which I'm recording and everything. I'm still getting used to this little doodad that I have here. And I'm also sorry that it took that long for a landing. It took me like about an hour to do a landing page. But sometimes landing pages take forever. So stay tuned.